Chestnuts roasting on an open
Yes. Here we go. December 21st edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Good to be here with you. A lot to talk about this morning, and really kind of an issue with some freezing fog in a lot of spots, which I'll detail for you coming up, and take a look toward the Christmas weekend forecast as well. Let's get right into a live look at the Greensboro Tower camera, live as I cut the video, of course, during the 5 o'clock hour this morning. Pretty quiet up in much of the Piedmont of North Carolina. No big issues with fog. Now, up in the mountains of North Carolina, there's a look at the Beach Mountain Parkway cam. That is courtesy of resortcams.com early this morning. And we're starting off with a quiet morning up there. Temperature atop Beach Mountain sits at 29 degrees. Let's take a peek at Blowing Rock, also from resortcams.com. Beautiful looking shot there. Looking around parts of downtown Blowing Rock. Again, it's kind of a cold mountain morning. We'll update these ski numbers on air a little bit later on. But the bottom line is, if you want to head up the high country, some pretty good skiing and riding options for you overall, as we have more and more base depth and more trails available to you as we move forward. There's a look at the Charlotte Tower camera. A little bit of fog around parts of the southern Piedmont, especially around the Catawba River. Saw some of those issues being reported here early this morning. Temperature there at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport at 28. Any of that fog is indeed freezing fog early this morning. Highs yesterday pretty chilly across the region. A lot of low and mid 40s all across the Carolinas as we went through the day. Yesterday, we'll take a look at the Triad viewing area highs. There you go, low and mid 40s. Charlotte viewing area very much the same. Kind of a chill in the air as we went through yesterday. But we're going to tack on, I think, about 10 degrees today. So it will be a milder setup. There's your temperatures across the Carolinas and the mid-Atlantic region. Kind of a cold start. Again, fog an issue from parts of South Carolina, southernmost North Carolina, back into Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and North Mississippi. And it is a freezing fog issue. All those blue shaded areas from Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, North Mississippi, Northeast Arkansas, those are all areas under freezing fog advisories. So some fog causing some slippery spots on area roads in many of those areas I just mentioned this morning. And there's chilly air. It is still pretty cold out there in many spots in the southeast. Now look at Shreveport at 50, 52 in Houston. Some milder air temporarily moving up our way. We'll feel that over the next couple of days. Radar's quiet over the southeast. There's some snow in the upper Midwest. That is associated with a low pressure area that's going to swing a cold front through here by later tomorrow. Now ahead of it, pretty good looking weather setup today. Look at these highs up into the 50s. This afternoon, not bad at all. Lows tonight, not as cold, down into the 30s. Now as we get into the day tomorrow, I think we're looking at even a milder setup due to the timing of this front. So your highs tomorrow look like that. That's not bad at all. And then a little cooler for Friday's clouds increase a bit later in the day. There's your Friday highs cooling down just a bit. And then we get into kind of a wet scenario for Christmas Eve. All right, on to some of the more detailed modeling. Here's the European upper air chart, 500 millibars for today. All right, tomorrow, there's that trough digging through the northeast, driving that next cold front our way that I mentioned. Now, as we get into the Christmas weekend, this is Saturday. And so as this little system approaches, I think a pretty good opportunity for some rain at times on Christmas Eve. I'll show you that in just a second. Here we go with Christmas Day. Some ridging over the southeast, but also still have that confluence there over the northeast. And that, I think, is going to help to keep some degree of a wedging scenario in place for a period of time. Again, more on that in just a second. And then there we go by Tuesday. This next system approaching, and the European really wants to carve out a really nice trough by the end of next week. And if that's correct, that'd be a pretty potent storm system with some showers and maybe even some thunderstorms around Thursday or so, maybe Friday, depending on the timing, and then maybe a decent shot of chilly air for the New Year's weekend. All right, I'll show you the European ideas on this here. Let's see. Well, I didn't stick the precipitation charts in there, but it's actually kind of similar in timing to the Canadian model. So let me show you that. This is some rain showers on the Canadian for Saturday, for Christmas Eve. Christmas Day looks pretty quiet, although a lot of lingering clouds. Now, this is Tuesday. The next front approaches, maybe a couple showers Monday night or Tuesday. And then there's that system wrapping up. This is actually Friday morning. So the Canadian is a little bit slower than the European, but same idea. You get a pretty decent system late in the work week, followed by a pretty decent shot of some chillier air by next Saturday and Sunday as we ring in the new year. So, and speaking of the European, these are courtesy of Weather Bell. These are your deviations from normal, 5,000 foot temperatures. Now, this is Sunday into Monday of this week, this coming week, Christmas Day, Christmas, and to the day after Christmas, and some way above average temperatures in parts of the eastern United States. In fact, most of the eastern United States. But again, you go out toward the 30th and the 31st, and there's that pretty good shot of cold air that the European is advertising. And this is the European ensemble in terms of deviations from normal. So this is also the ensemble indicating that idea of a pretty little shot of cold air by the end of next week. All right, so let me step you through the GFS real quick here. Today, sunshine, no problems. Tomorrow, still a good amount of sunshine. Chillier on Friday behind the front, but still pretty quiet. Now, as we get into Friday night and Saturday, that's when this next wave of precipitation begins to approach. I think our temperatures are going to largely warm above freezing before precip arrives Friday night into Saturday morning. In fact, watch the temperatures here. These are temperatures about 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, and the temperatures actually ease up a bit more toward daybreak Saturday. So probably the temperatures can stay above freezing, and we won't have any big icing issues with that Friday night into Saturday morning. Now, thereafter, it looks pretty wet for Christmas Eve. Good chance for some rain showers, but Christmas Day largely quiet. But there's that wedge scenario. So for Christmas Day, temperature's a little bit above average, but not as warm as what you would expect just if you looked at, say, the 500 millibar chart. That wedging holding temperatures in check to some extent. Monday, pretty quiet. Tuesday, there's that brief chance of a couple showers as that next cold front moves in. The GFS finally brings that final late week cold front in here later Friday. Again, it's about a day sooner on the European. But whenever it moves through, some showers, maybe some thunderstorms Thursday or Friday, and then following that, could be a decent shot of some chillier weather again, at least briefly, in and out, right around the New Year's Eve time period. All right, that is it for the latest edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Hey, everybody, have a wonderful Christmas weekend coming up, and we'll talk to you next week.
Christmas, without you. Oh, if you feel so blue, just thinking about you.